so we need more usage for ZK tokens. So I think it's good.
ZK Sync era as a bit more as a liquidity hub, like a B2B chain, where maybe most of your users are going to come from other chains. But I still think we can grow 10x, 20x of where we are now. I think that's some alpha because we haven't really publicized it yet. We want to TGE soon. That's always been in the works, but we also, want to grow first.
Yeah, RFX and Noon currently is definitely the alpha on the ZK Sync. Welcome everyone. In our next episode, we are back now with the founder of RFX Exchange on ZK Sync, and we are going to dive deeper what this exchange are offering and so on. So welcome, Cerberus, to us, and let's start with what's RFX Exchange and what makes the difference between another exchanges, why it's so special.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. So I guess a little bit about RFX Exchange. It's an LP-based perpdex. Our goal is to improve the capital efficiency for traders and LPs. And the way we try to do that is, like, say we just launched our vaults recently, and that auto rebalances your liquidity. It minimizes liquidity fragmentation for traders, and it gives LPs exposure to the highest APRs on RFX automatically, right? So the idea behind RFX is to create a more capital efficient perpdex that basically auto manages the risk for LPs, auto yield farms for LPs, and then in that process, it also provides deeper liquidity for traders. In a couple of lines, that's, I'd say, what RFX is. How are we different from other exchanges? So I think, we both agree that the perpdex space is like super competitive, right? There's so many different teams building, not just on ZK Sync, I mean, across crypto. Because it's a product that has so much product market fit, right? Like clear product market fit. But the way I view this space is there's two sort of let's say paths for perpdex. Now with the success of Hyperliquid, everyone's building. There's a lot of people building order books, and order books like GRVT is one in the Elastic Chain ecosystem. Order books are great for HFTs. They're great for markets that have a lot of organic liquidity, where retail or whales can maybe get some better execution, from markets like BTC Eat Sol. But then the second path is the path that RFX is taking, where it's like an AMM-based perps exchange, right? And definitely at this stage, I'd say in terms of speed and performance, order books are superior. But what we want to lean into at RFX is like what I like to call the superpower of DeFi, which is composability. And I know a lot of people think composability is a meme, but I think it's one of the most important things that we've unlocked in finance, right? Like, say, for even LSTs, LRTs, for you to be able to use your LP tokens as collateral in lending markets, things like that, is all because of composability. And I think there's more that we can do in the derivative space to make trading more capital efficient. So like one of the goals for RFX is to introduce cross collateralization, cross margin, where, say, if you have an Aave position on ZK Sync or another chain, you should be able to use that as cross margin, right? And we believe that interactions like these are easier when it's with an AMM because pricing is more deterministic, liquidity is more predictable. So making an integration is easier than, say, with an order book. So that's one of, I'd say, the key principles that sets us apart, what our key focus is as well. The other thing that I want to mention, it's not live yet, we've been building it for a while, is the ability to create your own trading pairs, right? So the idea
that's I'm waiting for.
yeah. And the idea for RFX, that's actually how it was born. Like, the full form of RFX is relative financial exchange. And what it indicates is, so as a trader, I used to pair trade quite a lot. And pair trading is basically when you long and short two correlated assets. So like, say, in the previous cycle, you'd have like maybe ARB and OP there were two correlated assets, and they still are, but there was a better trade previous cycle where you could long one of ARB or OP and short the other. And your downside risk is kind of protected because of the high correlation of the assets. So they move together. So even if ARB is going down or OP is going down, they go down together. But the bet you're making on is which will go down more, right? Or go up
Okay.
more. So it allows you to trade fundamentals. It allows you to trade narratives. And normally, as a trader, you would need to execute these trades in multiple legs, right? You would open one long on Arbitrum, normally on like Binance or something like that, and then another short on OP, for example. So you'd have to manage two separate trades, two separate funding rates. But our initial goal for RFX was, hey, let's create an exchange where if there's an exotic market or a pair trade or in a market that's not available anywhere that we have a price feed for, someone wants to trade it, let's create a system that allows them to trade it, funds it with liquidity, and gives traders more opportunities to find an edge in the market. So the native pair trading on RFX is something I'm excited about. There's no perp that's offering this yet. And how it's different from things like pair protocol, where they aggregate your trades across like GMX or Hyperliquid, is you would have a single position. It's more capital efficient because your margin is a single margin rather than splitting up your margin into two separate trades. And then you also get a single funding rate. So it opens up more arbitrage opportunities. Yeah, something we're excited about. So I think at this time, this is what sets us apart. And I think I've told you this before, but we've only built like maybe 10% of our roadmap, right? And right now we keep our roadmap a little bit close to our chest, but there's a lot of ideas we have, things that probably haven't been explored in the space before, and that we're excited to ship in the coming months.
Yeah, not going to lie, and you know it already that I'm really hyped about RFX Exchange from the very beginning. I'm already, or RFX Exchange is already longer on my list. And yeah, I like the vision, I like the team, I like your job, and so on. You mentioned on the beginning vaults and liquidity providing. Now, when we have the vaults, what's more efficient for liquidity providers? Go to pairs like ZK and USDC, or go for vaults with USN?
Yeah.
What's more efficient?
Yeah, so let's first talk about this without even looking at like Ignite, right? Because I think for most of the listeners, Ignite plays a role right now. But even without that, right? I'd say the first thing as an LP you want to consider is like, hey, do I want, like, when I'm earning yield, do I want directional exposure to the market, or do I want to be delta neutral, right? So say if you're someone who wants directional exposure to the market, like you want to hold your ZK or you want to hold your ETH while you're earning yield, you should be going to the pools where we have ZK USDC or with USDC pools. Of course, there right now you get some impermanent loss, so that's a little bit of a risk that you take. But if you're an LP who wants to be, zero impermanent loss, most of your net worth in stable coins, and want to yield farm using stable coins, then you should definitely be considering the USN shared liquidity vault. Because then with the vaults, you get zero impermanent loss. Your liquidity is always denominated in a stable coin. So, market drawdowns don't impact your position. And you get optimized yield, right? So the way the vault works is it looks at the demand, like the trading volume, the APRs, the utilization rates from different markets that are live on RFX. So the vault currently caters to ZK USD market, ETH USD market, BTC USD market, and Sol USD market, right? And it looks at every 4 hours. So right now it rebalances every 4 hours, and every 4 hours it looks at like, hey, what was the trading volume, or what was the APRs that we're earning, or the fees that we're earning from these markets. And then it rebalances liquidity from the vaults into those markets where it's earning more, right? And normally, if you're LPing in these individual pools, like the wet USDC pools that we have, you would have to monitor your position, constantly to see like, hey, is this pool I'm in getting trading volume? Is it getting fees? If it's not, then do I need to move my liquidity? When should I move my liquidity? How much should I move, right? All of that are things that you need to manually consider and calculate if you really want to find an edge in LPing. The vaults, it does that for you, right? And Noon is our launch partner. Great team, great product. The Noon team is also conducting an airdrop, and I think they have no VC capital raise, so there's a large amount of supply allocated to the airdrop. So people who use USN now will probably earn solid, rewards in the future. Having said all of that, right? So while the USN vault is the first vault that we launched with, we also have plans to launch more vaults with, like, say, a ZK vault where people who hold ZK, they can LP with just ZK and there's zero impermanent loss. The vault would use only ZK, or like an ETH vault as well, right? So these are some plans we have. And over the next few weeks, we'll probably start executing on this. But I'd say that's like a quick explainer on which one you should be using. If you're a lazy LP, or you basically want the best yields in stablecoin, you should be LPing in the USN vault.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I'm really, really happy about the ZK vaults, and we'll wait on it, and definitely we'll use it. And also, we need more usage for ZK token, so I think it's good. Also, yeah, RFX and Noon currently is definitely the alpha on the ZK sync. It's nothing hidden, and everyone should take a look on it. Also, can you tell us something about the security and stability aspect of RFX Exchange? Can the Oracle ensure that prices issues there are the correct and read time market data, and the overall platform is not prone to manipulation or hacks, or something?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. So, like, look, in terms of security and stability, like, the first thing I'd want to mention is, like, any serious team gets an audit done. We have audits from Halborn, like, and I don't say like that's the gold standard. I think that's just like the minimum that you first have to do. And then after that, like, talking a little bit about the architecture, the way Oracle-based perp is like ours, the way they can be exploited is one of two ways, right? The first way is if someone tries to front run transactions by trying to get better execution. It's kind of like MEV, right, in spot markets, where if you know the order execution price, you can basically sequence your order before the next trader or after the next trader to maximize your profit or get better entries. To prevent this, we use like a two-step Oracle process where every time someone initiates an order, they don't know the exact execution price until the order is actually executed, right? So the order is executed within one block of it being initiated. So even when you trade on RFX, you must have noticed when you open the trade, it first says initiating order, and then it says executing order. So that sort of minimizes the ability for someone to front run, price updates and get better execution and, harm LPs or extract value from LPs that way, because they won't know for certain the execution price that they're getting till the order is executed, right? The second type of manipulation attack is when you can control or let's say like exploit the price feed by manipulating the spot price for an asset. And say for example, this happened on GMX many years ago, and they're solid team, they fixed it immediately. But what someone tried to do is, I think there was a low liquidity asset. Maybe it was AVAX that they tried to do this for, where they were dumping a bunch of AVAX and then they were going short on GMX because AVAX dumping on some exchange was causing the AVAX price to crash. So the short was profitable. But I think even at the time, the hacker didn't manage to do it. I won't say hacker, but the exploiter didn't manage to do it profitably. I don't think they made any money. But GMX, right? They upgraded their Oracle system, and similar to us, like the way we prevent this is like, say we use two. First thing is we use two Oracle providers. We use Pith and Stork. both of these oracle providers give us prices from a range of exchanges, right? So say like the top 10, top 15 exchanges, we get the mark price from there, and then we use the median price from all of these exchanges. So there may be like a 5 basis point, 10 basis point price difference across all of these exchanges, and so we use the median, and so that means like if you really want to manipulate the oracle, you're gonna have to do it with a lot of capital across all 10 venues, or like 6 or 7 exchange venues where the prices are pulled from, right? So it's very expensive to exploit the oracle this way. So many people just won't do it. Um, and of course, there's some risk in having like centralized oracles, or listing low liquidity coins where maybe it's listed on 4 or 5 exchanges with very low liquidity, so you can still manipulate the oracle this way. But that's why we have like a risk engine where we kind of analyze the risk profile of every asset that we might list. Like right now, of course, we've stuck to just the 4 majors, and with the vault live now, there'll be more markets listed on RFX, and then with the permissionless live, people will be able to list their own markets as well. But the vault will only fund those markets where the risk criteria that we've set is met. And any other pairs that someone's trying to create, like if you're trying to create some meme coin pair or something like that, which has low liquidity, you will have to fund that with liquidity yourself and risk your own capital. And this is just to minimize exploits like these. So I'd say like that's kind of the system that we have in place right now to prevent manipulation or exploitation of the oracle.
Yeah, that sounds completely all right. Let's say that all around the ZK Sync Elastic network, yeah. Are you planning some more integration across the Elastic network, like Sophon, maybe Abstract, and so on?
Yes. So like one of our features in the roadmap that we want to ship is also cross-chain or chain abstracted perps, right? It's something that we've been working on. We're doing a lot of research, and the next chain, like that we're going to deploy on, will be Sophon. I think that's some alpha because we haven't really publicized it yet. So I guess some alpha for the listeners. It's coming soon. And we will try to use the Sophon and Era deployments as a POC for like the cross-chain perps once it's ready, right? So in the next weeks, we'll be deploying on Sophon. It will be its own independent deployment. And if things go well, we want to expand to as many as Elastic chains as we can. And we're even considering other chains outside of the Elastic chain. So far, we've been very native to ZK Sync Era, but I think over the last couple of weeks, there's been a lot of discussions around what's the future of ZK Sync Era. Even with Ignite, there's been a lot of changes, and I think personally, I'm starting to view ZK Sync Era as a bit more as a liquidity hub, like a B2B chain, where maybe most of your users are going to come from other chains. And if either ZK Sync native interop goes live soon and works well, you'll be able to tap into users from like Abstract or Sophon or Lens or wherever it is, and the liquidity can sit on Era. Or we're going to push ahead with our own plans and architecture for cross-chain derivatives anyways, and we can use Era as a liquidity hub and try to tap into trading volume and traders on other chains, whether they're on the Elastic chain or outside of.
Yeah, that sounds fair and good. Yeah, I like it. More chains, definitely better. And if we can cover more from the Elastic network, then definitely even better. So maybe the last question what I have and I need to know, do you know some date for expected TGE, or how many actually we know that we can farm particles every month or every epoch. Also, question is how many particles will be there in total?
So, I think so far every epoch we distribute 1 million in particles. That's all we can reveal right now, because like it's not just we're not trying to be mysterious or coy on purpose, but where so far the plan was to be very, very native to ZK Sync era. But like, like I just said, we're going to expand to more chains, and we want to try to do this rapidly. But it means that even the incentive campaigns, the airdrop we've planned, will change a bit based on the chains that we deploy on, right? Because we want to build and grow a community on every chain that we deploy on. So while I can't give you an exact number, I'd say like we want to TGE soon. That's always been in the works, but we also want to grow first. It doesn't make sense to just launch a token for the sake of launching a token. We've grown well in the last 2 months of being live, but I still think we can grow 10x, 20x of where we are now, especially with the features that we want to ship. And so the first, highest priority for me is to grow the protocol, grow the community, and of course, like the airdrop will happen. It's an ongoing thing. What I can say is we will prioritize and always reward organic usage of the platform, early supporters, whether on chain or off chain. Even if you're not a whale and you can't contribute with too much liquidity or too much trading volume, if you're using RFX, you're talking about RFX, you're supporting us, we're watching, and you'll be acknowledged when the time comes.
Yeah, I completely agree here that no need to rush anything. Better to have 1 million users than 1 million. I don't know what, but yeah, 1 million tokens without a value.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So definitely the community and users must be on the first place. So agree here. Anyway, thank you for your time. I think I got answer for every question I had.
Thank you. So happy, to be here. Thanks for having me on, and thank you for all the support, Max. You've always been, one of our early supporters, and really appreciate it.
When I see good product, I'm going for it. ZK is the end game.